He's definitely very resistant to coming forward and to being touched. Kind of back to that first time when he stopped at the gate. I'm gonna give him a nice break here. So he had a little bit of regression there, and maybe it's because I was just trying different techniques. Tried the technique where I pressured him in here and this let him follow me into the gate. But it didn't seem to work very well for him. That was the most forward movement we've gotten in here. Pressure. Try to get his hip to move over. Nope. Wrong answer. At some point here, we're gonna have a breakthrough where he's just gonna start following me around. But he's real resistant to it so far. You just have to keep at it. Be patient. I'm glad you got me a horse that's my size. He's doing decent here, and you can tell it's a lot easier for him to follow me to the left than to the right. To the right, he'll shift his hips, but he hasn't really walked forward. Circle to his hip. See, he's not committing to running away, so I'm just going to keep that circle going. Pressure on his hip till I see forward movement. I'll see if I can get him to go to the right. If I can get right and left, then I should be able to start to get that really forward motion towards me. So as I weave back and forth, I'm trying to draw him this way. So I've got him halfway there. He's not running away from me. He's circling, but he's still not quite following me. That was good. Pressure. That was 11 steps he took towards me. That was the best yet. Just gonna approach him if he starts to get nervous. I call it quitting them before they quit you. So if you go to approach your horse and you can tell he's about to leave, about to walk off. If he lifts his head up, if he gets nervous, just stop. Just let him hang out there. See if I can get his attention. He's committed to leaving me, so I'll just send him. Almost. He's leading me a little bit right there. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I like that. What I'm doing is as I'm circling around towards his hip, I'm trying to get closer to him. So as long as I can keep getting his attention and moving those hips away, if he really commits to moving the hips away, then I'll move away from him. He's kind of a hard nut to crack because he doesn't want to be touched. Anytime he gets I get anywhere close to him. He doesn't want to come up close to me. It's kind of like working with a Mustang who hasn't been touched before, and even though it's similar behavior where they just don't want you to get close enough to touch them. There's a change. That's the furthest he's come into here without going back out into the other part. So I might just step right over here and let him rest right there. Pressure. Release. So he's real close to coming back in. Lost attention. Cut him off. So I was on his right side. I wanted him to turn to the right, and he turned left. So I just cut him off, sent him back to the right. He's kind of afraid of my hand moving. So I'm just moving my hand to get him accustomed to my movement. Now this is a horse that if I were home and I were doing this and I had my ropes with me, I would just rope him. I'd rope him and I would approach him after catching him with a rope. We don't have that luxury today, so we'll just keep. I think we'll just keep working at it until I get him. But it's like with the Mustangs that I train. A lot of them, I'll just rope them, and then because they're so hesitant to have me touching them that it might take. Some people take months before they even touch their Mustang, and I want to be touching them the first day usually. So he's definitely a hard nut to crack, that's for sure. I think once I start making physical contact with him, he's gonna change his demeanor and want to follow me a lot easier. But right now, he's not fond at all of wanting me to touch him. Come on, Mr. Bougie. Mr. B. And even though he's not facing me right now, as long as he's not totally turning his tail to me, I'm going to still approach him slowly. Right there. So I'm just going to use pressure and release of pressure. And I'm not going to stop working on this until I touch him. I'm going to rub on him, then retreat, rub, retreat, do that a few times, then I'll walk off, see if I can get him to follow me. I was going to start throwing this lead rope over his back. Start giving him some physical contact.
Definitely see a change doing that.
Yeah. What I'm trying to do is develop initiate that contact with my lead rope.
As an extension of your hand?
Yep, as an extension of my hand.
Same as you do with your hand, you stick rubbing them on the nose after.
Yep, the stick and string, the stick I use, the training stick, I'll use that and reach out and rub on them. I'll desensitize to rest with a string. I'm trying to take away that anxiety about being approached by something. And I might even drop my flag so that that's not something that's distracting him or spooking him.
Little lead beside. Hey, buddy.
He's a good boy. So with him, we're combining a lot of different approaches. He's real hesitant to follow me. I had a mare one time, a Mustang mare out of Oregon. It was a few years back when they had the big fire up in Oregon, and all these horses, these wild horses. Well, some horses escaped their homes, and some horses were just out there wild or feral. And they rounded up a bunch of them, and I had this mare, and she was the only horse I've ever had where I went a full 2 months with her, and the best I could do with my round penning was get her to follow me about 2 feet behind me. I couldn't get her in that amount of time. I couldn't get her to follow right behind me. She would hang back a little bit, and his behavior is kind of similar to that. Just get him used to these movements. Let him smell that rope. And retreat. Now this is very atypical for me to rub up on their butt. He's a little guy, so I'm not as worried about being kicked. But this is the best I can do for touching him right now. If I try to get towards his head, he's going to leave me. Okay, now I've got a hold of him. Good boy.
Hour and 15.
It's taken a lot longer than I expected. I thought this was going to be easy.
That was a lot faster than I expected. It really was. That was pretty incredible.
It's only gone about 10% as I thought it would. But you work with the horse you have today, right?
Yeah, and he's definitely Bougie.
No, you can't say that enough.
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and put this halter on him. He's a cute little guy. My goal would be to get him to where you can catch him.
Baby steps, baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps.
So is this a service you offer to work with new, like when my daughter, I think it's going to be a couple more years, she's 11.
Uh-huh.
But I don't want her to own an animal that she can't control and take care of.
Uh-huh.
And not that I mind coming out and feeding, but I think that's one of the biggest relationships she can have with her horse is the care, the work, all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
If I work with the horse, I don't think that it's more my horse
Yeah.
than her horse.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Steve, as being my neighbor, I'm a lucky guy because he's got a ton of knowledge also. But is this what you do for business?
Yes.
Okay, so if need be, when Taylor does have her own horse, between your services and Steve's services, we can get her to the point where she's in command.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're going to develop a kids clinic where we're just an introduction to horsemanship kids clinic, where we have maybe 10 kids come and we have some horses that are well mannered. We teach them how to groom, we teach them how to halter, how to saddle, all the safety aspects of where to stand. I have a client that I just finished training her horse yesterday. She told me that last year, about a year ago, she had a daughter. They're just new to horses, and her daughter was reached down at the horse's hind legs. This was an old ranch horse that seemed like he was, bomb-proof. But she reached down and she was doing something with his back leg, standing in a very poor position. The horse picked up his back leg and hit her in the nose, busted her nose. She fell down, and then he kicked her in the back of the head. And then she rolled over and he stomped all over her because he was trying to get off of her. So luckily, it didn't kill her.
Right.
But I know people that has killed a child.
Sure, that's my biggest fear with my daughter.
Yeah.
Is that obviously the horse has the advantage,
Yeah.
what I mean? But I do believe if you train them and work with them properly, they're safe.
Yeah.
Obviously, Russ, I wouldn't let my daughter go this route, and I would love to see her follow the lines of, even if she apprenticed with you, to help the other children to make sure that knowledge gets passed on and those kids get trained right. Because I see a lot of, anyhow, we won't talk about people, but they have these beautiful animals and they don't know what the heck to do with them.
Uh-huh.
And that's definitely where I don't want to end up, or my daughter.
Yeah.
End up. And so.
Well, I think there's a huge need for it. There's a huge need, and that's what we do at Riata Horsemanship. We have clinics, we have private lessons, and we have an online membership to help people. So you can go in, you can see all the training videos, you can be a part of our community, you can ask questions, you'll be a part of challenges that we do with people. We can have kids challenges, adult challenges, newbie challenges, advanced horseman challenges.
And then does Taylor need her own horse to bring to these clinics? I mean, you guys don't
if there's always horses that we can find, either our own or others that we could find that she could use in a clinic if she didn't have one. But in a beginning groundwork clinic and a safety clinic for kids, bringing Bougie would be perfect, just to have little Bougie with her. Yeah. So what I'm doing as we're chatting here is just developing that hug relationship with him, right? Just helping him feel really good being around me. I'm a big scary guy, and I was using a big scary flag to move him around, and he's just so sensitive to he decided he didn't want me to touch him, and now I'm reinforcing the idea that being touched by me is a good idea, is something that's going to help his life. This feels good to him. So I'm just doing that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave him at the end of the lead rope. Then I'm going to approach him. Good boy. And I'll probably just put that flag down. But I'm going to work on approaching him like I would if he didn't have the rope on. So that's what he doesn't like. He doesn't like being approached. That's scary to him. Mm-hmm. So if I can approach him many times, retreat, and every time it's a good experience for him, then he's going to start being a lot easier to be approached and caught.